Okay.
Oh, what's happening, fellas? What's going on? Welcome to It Came From GenX. I am your host, along with my colleagues, Keith, the news reporter, Brian, the big fish fisher, and of course, Michael Pineapple Skinner. How do you like them names, fellas?
So why is he the pineapple?
Because it goes with Skinner. What else you got?
Mm.
I had something else that kind of went along with a serial killer, but that was just too morbid.
Yeah, that's a good call on that one.
Yeah, I tried with pineapple. I thought that would be pretty good. You know, a pineapple Skinner. You ever seen one of those?
I know what you're talking about now.
Okay, I was about to say.
It's about the device that skins fruit and stuff.
I was about to call you a millennial. You better watch yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Hey, fellas, welcome back. It's show number 2. Here we are.
It is. Excited for it.
Yeah, show 1 was great. Thank you for those who watched, those who listened, and we appreciate the comments on some of these social media platforms, and we just hope to get better. We are 3 best friends from high schools. We are also the guys from reality football with our brand new show looking at current topics from a millennial point of view, making fun of millennials, making fun of Generation X, making fun of ourselves. So to every generation, we say welcome.
A millennial point of view. I think we're a Gen X point of view.
A Gen X point of view. Yes, yeah. Whatever. See, I'm old, man. That's my point.
Maybe Gen X, but his memory's like a baby boomer.
That's my point. Hey, I dug out my old Mattel Pro 2 football game today.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hear that? Can you hear that sound? Oh, look at you. Ah. Now, this is how you play football. Okay. You put your PlayStation 7s up and all that other crap and Madden 45. This is football.
Yeah, the innovation with this game here, and I don't have batteries in this, but it still works. Mattel, and it's put together great. This thing has took a beating over the years. Yeah. I'm sure yours has too, Keith. The innovation of this game was you can actually hit the pass button. That was like huge at the time. So the football one, for those that may not know, it's just these little dashes, and you would just run left to right. You just had to avoid, but you could actually throw to a receiver on this one. That was pretty exciting stuff.
From I remember sitting up.
That's right. The white one was the original one. Yeah. You can buy both. Go ahead.
The technology that they came up with that was so ingenious. A solid dash went to a blinking dash.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
I remember that.
That's
sitting around as a kid playing this game for hours with the young Coach Cooper would sit over there and play this very frequently back in the day. Still fun.
Hours and hours. Absolutely.
Yep. I gotta tell you, fellas, I'm jealous. I wish I still had mine. I'm gonna have to go look for one.
You could they make replica ones right now. You could buy all these replica digital games from Mattel and otherwise, the baseball and all kinds of stuff. They make new ones that look and play just like the original.
Okay, I have a confession.
You can find them out there. Go ahead.
I have a confession. This is for Skinner's benefit. That is not my game from my childhood. I bought that. I bought that a few years ago.
There you go. Okay. This one is mine though. This is my original. My original from when I was a boy, right here. This is before the Atari 2600.
Yeah, I can see the Kool-Aid stains on it. Yeah, we know.
That's right. Because I hope it's Kool-Aid. Yeah.
So I took my I don't want to say first, but I took a beat down in Madden 21 the other day from a 13-year-old, and I am not happy. I went years being undefeated, and this little rascal beat the slop out of me. And I can't stand him. I love him, but I can't stand him. So I'm going to take this over. Like, so play me in this.
There you go. That's
how good you are.
Maybe some Tecmo Bowl. Tecmo Bowl. To me, still one of the greatest.
Go ahead. No, please.
As I say, Tecmo Bowl is still one of the greatest football video games for the original Nintendo that ever existed. Not too complicated like Madden, just complicated enough. Tecmo Bowl, I have the original one where Bo Jackson is completely unstoppable in that game.
I want to play. I never got to play Tecmo Bowl.
I have it right now. We'll have you over. We'll do a retro video game night. Yeah,
hey,
absolutely. Still a lot of fun.
Speaking of having me over, and you mentioned Coach Cooper. our esteemed colleague, who is a part of the show. As you know, of those of you who followed us for reality football, he took a break during personal issues with his parents, and he's also going to be a part of this show at some point in time. We had a great time at his house Saturday night, did we not?
Yes, absolutely.
We needed to laugh.
Very good time. It was something I said off camera. It was something we all needed. It was a night of laughs between us. So that was great.
Yeah, I found out actually how warped my friends really are. You guys need help.
Yeah.
I can't repeat some of the stuff you guys said in that board game. But
it wasn't anyways, the board game was funny. Yeah, it wasn't a super spreader event, but it was definitely a super insult event. Super insult spreader event for sure. Yeah.
Right.
There were something we excel at. Go ahead.
A lot of references to Porter and Eaton and
Cooper's grandmother. I made jokes
Fisher
about
it. Fisher didn't spare you none either, buddy. So
no, that's true. That is very, very true.
So that could be your son's father, I think, that evening, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Well, anyway, guys, it's been an interesting week and some of the topics that we cover. And before we dive into those, Fish, tell the people where we can be found.
All right, real quick here. So you might be listening to us on WMVU.org, Global Internet Radio, Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Same broadcast will be on podcast during the week as well. We're going to try to launch those on every Friday. Thursday, Friday will be our target, so watch for those. Presently, you can subscribe to us on Spotify, Google Podcast, Breaker, PocketCasts, and RadioPublic, soon to be on Apple Podcasts. Stay tuned to our Facebook page at It Came From GenX, all one word, all show information there, including links to our YouTube channel where we'll post videos there. Yes. YouTube channel also, It Came From GenX. Instagram, It Came From _GenX. Twitter at Came_Gen, or look for It Came From GenX. And finally, TikTok at It Came From GenX 330, or It Came From GenX. Look for us there. Look for our rubber duck logo.
Quack, quack.
Rubber duck, right? Shooting lasers out of his eyes. That's our mascot here. And finally, you can email us at itcamefromgenx330@gmail.com. If you don't know where to go, what to do, go to our Facebook page at It Came From GenX. All show information there. All links to podcasts will be there. Go there, give us a like and a follow, and you'll keep up to speed with everything that we got going on. So we thank you for your support out there.
And I want to give a shout out, Fish, excellent job with the videos on Facebook and YouTube. And we definitely got to give a shout out to Pineapple Skinner's her son, Mike Skinner Jr., doing an excellent job on the production, on the podcast production. Hey, Junior, we love you. That's my nephew, and hope to see him real soon. He's in a completely other state, helping
completely different coast.
Yes, exactly. Doing his thing for the show, so we appreciate that. Oh, man. Lots of news today. Who wants to start today?
Skinner, we're going to do the world news with Skinner. How about that?
Yeah, come on, Skinner. What is going on in the news today, buddy?
My first one, probably close to everyone's heart, at least over the last year, is Johnson & Johnson got the approval over the weekend to roll out the first 20 million doses of the COVID vaccination. There only needs to be, what they're telling us, only needs to be stored in a regular refrigerator instead of 5,500 degrees below zero like this other one is. And it only requires one dose, which I think is very important for a lot of people. So, yeah, we talked a lot about the COVID with our other show, with the football show, and we didn't know if we were going to finish an 18-game season or an 18 or 20-week season based on COVID. But come a long way since like November when they said they were going to start doing some vaccinations. But the funny thing is Dr. Anthony Fauci, you know, the guy with infectious control.
Sure.
He's cautioning everyone to be careful about relaxing restrictions sooner than they should, because there's going to be a spike in COVID again.
It is absolutely, People hear the words vaccine in their mind, and I'm seeing it out in public. People think, oh, we got a vaccine now. Let's just lax up. I'm seeing a lot of it.
Sure.
To me, it's funny that he's saying this at the same time they're rolling out this third vaccine with Johnson & Johnson, which is supposed to be a quicker fix than what the Madura, and I'm trying to remember what the other one is.
Pfizer.
You would think the government would put out some sort of message, relaying that, especially to the young people. I know everyone is so anxious to get back to the old way of life, which I don't think that's going to ever happen completely. But at the same time, we got to have more caution now. We're in what we call the middle mile. What I call the middle mile was when you're at the beginning of something, it's great and it's exciting because it's new. And then if you're close to the end, it's exciting because you can see the finish line. But the middle mile is the hardest part. When you're so far from the beginning and you can't see an end. That's when you got to persevere and do the right thing and keep on going.
Yeah, it's like you say, everyone's been cooped up it's right around a year now. I remember, at this time last year, I was planning a trip down to Savannah, Georgia with some friends for St. Patrick's Day, and we were, we knew that was starting to get more rumblings then. We went down there anyway, and they had canceled everything. We still had a great time, and it was outdoors and all that, so we were okay. But it was and while we were there, we started to hear about lockdowns in Ohio and all this stuff. So it's it's about a year. People's been cooped up and stuff. And you're right. It's just, people's just going to take that approach is the worry. I've been cooped up. I don't care. I'm going out. I mean, frankly, all of us getting together, technically we got to be careful even doing those small gatherings. Like
right.
That, you know
exactly.
what I'm saying? So
this time last year, I was planning on robbing a liquor store. And then next thing I know, everybody's in a mask, and it just kind of ruined the whole motif. Whatever.
That's right.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
They would really not have a hard time finding you in a lineup then, for sure.
But that rollout is a real deal. So Keith, I know your mom is of age. My mom is of age as well.
Yes.
My mom's in her early 70s, and it's not organized yet too well at all.
It's not. I went to my pharmacy the other day to pick up some prescriptions, and it was a mess. It was just elderly people everywhere, going in, getting shots. They didn't know what they were doing. It was just a mess, man.
Yeah, it's like you have to go on your own, find where they are giving the vaccinations, and you just have to keep checking back to see if they have anything that's open to try to get something scheduled. It's not, hopefully they get it under control, but if you guys haven't seen it yet out there, I'll recommend this. Saturday Night Live last week, Kate McKinnon played Dr. Anthony Fauci in the cold open. If you haven't seen that out there,
check that out.
Check it out on YouTube.
I'm researching this.
Good.
These
Go
vaccines, trying to get more information before we make the decision. And the one thing I got out of Fisher's opening with the new Johnson & Johnson is the good thing about it. By the time it does get to us, I think things are going to be more refined,
right,
and get better, hopefully, and more organization too, as you said.
Yeah, that's certainly the hope and the goal. They're trying to do different things and open up more. We talked about it even on the football show. They're going to open up NFL stadiums to use if they want and stuff like that. So, yeah, you're right. Hopefully it gets better sooner than later. So we'll see. We need some concerts. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have some breaking news. It might be of interest to some of you, especially Porter. This just in.
The Big Rib is back.
Not quite.
Okay, go ahead.
Doctors in New York saying that pizza for breakfast is a healthier choice than most cereals sold on shelves at the stores.
Wow. The only thing I hate about this podcast is people cannot see my shocked face.
Tony the Tiger could have something to say about that.
Oh gosh. I am so not surprised. Pizza is made from natural ingredients, any decent pizza, it's tomato sauce, it's great cheese, it's, your sausage, whatever. You're talking about anything that's processed. End of story. How is this shocking news to anybody? Oh, yeah, by the way, too, cigarettes are dangerous for you in case you didn't know. Duh.
Right.
That's all I got on that.
Coming now from Papa John's, our famous breakfast pizza. It's just like regular pizza, just it's been in the refrigerator for a day.
Yes, exactly.
Right. There you go.
Studies show it's more healthy than your average breakfast cereal, folks.
So my famous pizza story.
There you go. Yep.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
I was young and I wasn't feeling well, and I went to my girlfriend's house to spend the night. I picked up a large pizza. When I got there, I contracted a fever. Now, she lived in a loft in the attic, and it was like 100 degrees up there. And I just went to bed, and I was in bed for 2 days. Fever finally broke. I woke up. She was gone. I was starving. I made my way into the kitchen, and I said, oh, man, my pizza's still in the oven. I'll eat some cold pizza. So I grab a pizza, and I'm just chowing away. Eyes are closed, having a good old time. Finally, I opened my eyes, and there were just millions of maggots crawling under the cheese. Yeah, man. I was so
my goodness.
I threw up and was sick all over again.
All right.
Yeah. Porter's eating maggots.
Yeah. Nice.
Tell your friends, kids.
Nice.
Sounds like some of the pizza we found in Fisher's refrigerator after an attic antics kind of night.
Yeah, that could be. Could be for sure.
I have one last one. Amazon is putting cameras in their delivery vans, and the drivers are not very happy about that.
What's the problem?
That's a good question. Why would they be unhappy with cameras?
What's the problem? Why are they putting cameras in there? What's the problem that would cause that?
Well, there's first two things came to mind for me: safety of the drivers, and then the other one was to micromanage the drivers. So there you go. Take your pick on one of the others. But
Big brother.
Amazon has blown up so big throughout the country and around the world that at some point you knew they were going to start putting some measures in place. I think they're trying to get ahead of what happened with the U.S. mail, like it was around here from Thanksgiving up until the end of January, where the mail just halted completely for like 8 weeks. I work in the banking industry, as you all know, and the customers that had payments and things that got lost in the mail for 8 to 10 weeks. And I think that might have something to do with it as well. Just trying to get ahead of what happened.
Yeah, but I thought it was robbing banks is not the banking industry, Skinner.
Right.
Totally
I thought it was interesting that they say that they're putting the cameras in the vehicles, and the drivers aren't happy about it. So I'm not quite sure what they were trying to get out with that one, but I thought it was an interesting story.
Wow, that's good, Fish.
Probably about productivity and safety, like you say, just to keep people. I mean, they're probably looking to, minimize drivers and maximize. You probably stretch these guys thinner. I don't know. We'll see, but yep.
Yeah, it's Amazon. You remember when they just sold books?
I know, right?
Sure.
And you got those commercials that came on TV about Amazon, and this is the newest thing. You should take stock in this, like Walmart and this, that, and other. And I remember sitting in my living room saying, "Nah, this ain't gonna fly. There's catalogs out there."
Did we miss out on that or what?
Oh my goodness! The catalog is today's Amazon. It was catalogs back in the day. It's where Coach Coop met his wife, was at the JCPenney's catalog store up there.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
You order your stuff through the catalog at JCPenney's, and then you go to the store and pick it up. That was our Amazon back in the day.
Are you kidding me? We've been best friends for 35 years, and I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they were JCPenney employees. That's how they met.
That's funny.
That's right.
I wish I'd have put some stock in them. My portfolio looks like a comic book. So I wish I'd have done that. And Amazon is on my front porch every day, just about. So, oh well.
I gotcha. Well, that's all I got, fellas. What do you got, Fish?
All right, so we got some pop culture news.
Oh, one of my favorite subjects.
Just a few things at random. Well, first of all, you had the Golden Globes last evening. Did you guys watch any of that?
No, I did not.
Okay.
No.
So a couple things about the Golden. So first of all, the Golden Globe, they got some flack this week leading up to it. There's 87 members of the Hollywood Foreign Press select all the nominations, right? And then they learned that doesn't happen to be any black people on the panel whatsoever, and there were a few snubs that seemed to be questionable for some, black shows and actors, actresses. I didn't get all the detail, but there were a few missing. And then, so of course, it generates, and what I liked on the show, some people did bring it up even comedically. So I would hope after this that they'll probably make some changes and have maybe a more diverse panel at this point. So that in itself got some news prior to the awards.
Right. Okay.
And
so I won't talk so much about the snub, potential snubs or whatnot, but I'll focus on the panels because I think that in itself would fix that problem. You would think,
right?
If they had a more diverse panel. We talked last week when I did my day in music about the infamous Jethro Tull won the heavy metal band category, and we knew nobody on that panel of Grammy listeners had any clue what metal was. That's or right. Who any of the bands were. They didn't listen. So I would think the same goes for the panel on the Golden Globes. A lot of white people. It's normal for black people to watch all white shows, but very few do you find white people that will watch black shows. Now, I know a lot that do, but they're unaware of them.
Right.
And especially when it comes to movies, there are some unbelievable acting performances, but the movies have never been viewed by these people. I thought Cicely Tyson, who recently passed away, was the greatest actress ever. Everybody was on top of Meryl Streep. I don't think Meryl Streep could carry her dress, but she never got the recognition that she deserved. No, none of her movies. So the panel needs to be fixed. The winners last night, as it may be, Nomadland won the best movie, but Andra Day, who is a black woman, she did win the Best Actress award. Our dearly departed friend, the Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, he won Best Actor.
Yep. And
there was a couple of more. Let me see here. We have down in the Daniel Kaluuya, great actor, up and coming actor. He won supporting actor in a movie I can't wait to watch, Judas and the Black Messiah. So there was some representation. Oh, and don't forget the movie Soul, the animated movie Soul, won Best Original Score too as well. So there was some representation, a little diversity in the winners, but we definitely need more diversity in the panel.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, fix that. I'm sure it'll change from this. That's something good that'll come out of it, I'm sure. And then the awards last night what was interesting is it was kind of fun. I saw some of it, and you can see the clips out there online certainly, but everybody's at home. It's not unlike people what we're dealing with this show, what people are dealing with work, with a video conference. So there's a varying degree of stuff in the background, varying degree of technology working and not working, even from the stars on these. So that was kind of refreshing in a way that, we're all in this going through the same crap together.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's technology troubles. And, and then if you have not seen Jason Sudeikis's a speech for winning Best Comedic Actor is kind of, what do you get? Supporting act? He won something for a new show he has.
Okay.
He's wearing like just a shirt that you would just expect to be lounging around the house, like a tie-dye hoodie. And he kind of a rambling speech a little bit, but it was a good message, and it was interesting.
I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, so it was okay. So that was that last night. A couple other things going on. Also last evening, The Walking Dead season 11 started. It's the last season. Now they're branching off, and there's already a couple different series out there right now. They're going to have more. Okay.
Yeah, so they got one called My Ex-Wives.
Walking Dead. The Walking Dead. After experiencing Keith for several years, they're just kind of brain dead, walking around.
Probably put mine in there too, and then we're really in trouble. Right?
That's true. Throw all in there.
Yeah, between the two, you guys, you got a whole army of Walking Dead. Yeah, so I Rick the sheriff, he's been off the show for a couple of seasons, but still some of the main characters are there, Daryl, and a couple other ones there. So I did watch last night. I thought it was decent, but is that something? But I've been watching it since day one. I mean, the first episode I was hooked. Do you still watch it? Is that exciting to you? Not your thing? What's your guys' take on The Walking Dead?
Well, after Skinner goes, I got to tell you something gonna blow your mind. Go ahead, Skimbo.
Okay.
Say that again.
Go ahead.
Walking Dead. Are you interested in the last season, or are you done with that show, or did you ever get into it?
I haven't watched one episode of that show, to be truthful.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
And not one episode. I am not a zombie apocalypse guy whatsoever.
I did watch the first 3 in season 1, and that was like last year. So I thought I was the only one here. That was
no,
say that.
You are not. I remember the one year you and your girlfriend at the time, you guys went as a Walking Dead character. I remember that's years ago. I was with my previous ex-wife.
One of the Walking Dead. Yeah.
Yeah, you were one of the Walking Deads, and I remember at that time I'm like, I don't even know who the hell this guy is that he's portraying. I never seen the show.
Supposed to be Ralph Nader?
No, I wanted Sheriff Rick Grimes from the show. Yeah, so
he could have told me that name and said, "What show am I from?" and I would have had not a clue.
Okay, so listen. All right, so Fish and I obviously don't have a platform to talk from here, but I will say this: for a while, America was in a zombie craze.
Yeah,
it was zombie everything. We even had that show with the girl who was a zombie, eat people's. It was sick. I forget what it was called on the CW. Yep. But it seems that love affair has kind of died down a little bit. I've often wondered how that show's lasted as long as it has. And it was fascinating when I watched it. I just lost interest really quick. But I'm more of a 100 guy, the 100 guy. But anyway, the love affair of zombies seems to have died down a little bit. So,
yeah, I won't go too much more into it, but what makes the show appealing is a lot of it really isn't the zombies aren't the main story, if you will. Zombies are around. It's more of the human dynamic in how do people survive? How do they continue to coexist? So all that stuff that's right. So anyway, that started last evening.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna binge watch it.
It's on. I think it's on Netflix or something. It's out there.
I think it is
streaming.
Yeah.
So it's several years. It's worth a watch in my opinion.
All right. What else?
All right. So that was that. A big event in February. Pokemon turned 25 years of age. So there's all kinds of different Pokemon events throughout February. The 27th was Pokemon Day. They actually had a concert that streamed with Post Malone. Now, if I think Post Malone, the first thing that pops in my mind, Pokemon.
The first thing that pops in my mind is
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
that's me. I'm kidding, of course. But yeah, he did a streaming to celebrate Pokemon, all these things. So I remember when Peyton was little, it was the trading cards, and that was the craze then. She's 20 years old now. And then now it's the app with the search. Is that anything you guys got remotely interested in Pokemon, or is that just way beyond our time?
I am a live and let live, non-judgmental type of guy. You guys know me.
Mm-hmm.
I find Pokemon to be one of the stupidest things that have ever graced the face of this earth. So with that, Skinner.
Yeah. See, my oldest is a couple years older than your guys' oldest, but Mikey was big into that. He had the 3-ring binder with the plastic, like we would with baseball cards back in the day.
Sure.
And he made a art cover form for this thing, and I'm like, oh my goodness. The funniest thing to me is watching people walking around town with their phones with that Pokemon thing, trying to find. Running into telephone poles and stop signs, and I'm like, that was, to me, it was comical just to watch that. But it does bring me back to when the kids were younger and they were into that. Now, me personally,
That was from our generation. Is there anything going on today that you can see that's similar to what Pokemon was to our generation?
You know what? It's still Pokemon. It's just what he said.
It's still going. Okay.
It's
all
just
right.
it's like you said. It's that app thing and everything else. You think of that, the marketing geniuses of those. I wonder if we could get people to literally walk around in public with their phone looking for random Pokemon that don't exist, and they're just out and about. I guess if there's one thing good about that is that it's getting people. They were getting them out of the house and walking around and interacting and socializing and trying to find these Pokemon and doing it with their children and everything. It's just ingenious that it's still strong after all these years, and they've got into all the different.
Well, you get people to do
social
everything
media
except
and
talk to
games
each other.
It's funny you say that about the exercise, because I'm a little more judgmental than Porter is. Go figure. So watching these guys walking up and down Broad Boulevard and Portage Trail and Front Street, and I would crack jokes in the car as I'm walking, as we're driving by, and Marcy would hit me upside the arm and say, "Stop that. They're out exercising while we're here going to get Dairy Queen," or something like that. So it did bring out. But here's an idea. Let's start an app. It came from Gen X, and people walk around town looking for 80s and 70s memorabilia. There we go. How about that?
That's good. Yeah. Or let's start an app, and people can get their phones and they can go out, try to find the 2 or 3 fast food spots you haven't hit yet. Well, we'll mark it with a big red X.
There you go. Just pull up the app. Pull up the YouTube. It came from GenX. Throw on one of our videos. Walk around aimlessly.
Right.
And there you have it.
Well, if there's a vegan or a vegan restaurant or what's the vegetarian restaurant? Those will have the big red X's in front of them. But anything else, fair game.
I've hit all the other ones, I tell you. Okay, Fish.
So how's our time, Skinner? We're doing pretty good?
Oh yeah, we're good.
Fine. Okay. Interesting. This is making the news of late. A Superman film reboot is in the works, as far as it's being written now by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Hopefully I spelled his name right. I did write down the pronunciation. Ta-Nehisi Coates. He is a journalist. I didn't realize he's written a couple series for Marvel Comics already. He wrote a Black Panther series and a Captain America series. So J.J. Abrams' production company is involved, and it's going to allegedly star a Black Man of Steel. And some people might be wondering, are they going to make Clark Kent black and all that? That doesn't seem to be the plan. So the DC universe has, as you may or may not know, but if you're a DC fan, you do know, they have different universes,
right?
Similar to the Marvel multiverse. So they have different Earths. They have Earth, whatever. So I think we're Earth 2 in the comic or something like that. But so Earth 23 has a president, Calvin Ellis. He's a Superman on that Earth. So that might be the character that they use. And the rumor has it that Michael B. Jordan might play that role. And he kind of let it out a little bit on a recent Oprah interview, Michael B. Jordan. So I think it's great. I think it's a whole different universe. I think it certainly would be good to introduce the DC different Earths out there, because you're not pigeonholed into the same kind of tired characters. That they really still can't seem to get right yet, in my opinion. The current DC heroes with the current movies that they're making, with the exception of maybe Shazam and the first Wonder Woman. So I like it. Let's do it. What do you guys think?
I think it's an excellent idea. If Michael B. Jordan is the one, excellent choice. One of my favorite new young actors. I think it'd be good for just comic book fans. There's been so much new twists on our heroes as of late, and I think people are enjoying that. Not as long as you don't take away the traditional. But I think it's been great to see some of the new. We have the Spider-Man, the animated movie that had a little bit of twist on that character with Miles different Spider-Mans, right? Yep. even in the Superman last animated movie where there were multiple Supermen after Superman had died. That was interesting.
Yep.
So I think we like seeing this. Now, on a more political note, certainly have an African American Superman. About time. About time. You know, that's all I can say is about time. He has been the ultimate superhero of all superheroes. I don't care who. You can be a Wolverine guy, Batman guy. Superman is the man. And it would be great for these thousands and thousands of young black men to see themselves in that role. Sure. I think that would be great. Maybe even spawn a new generation of comic book characters. But just all in all, just on a movie note, I think that's going to be a great idea.
Sure. Skinner, what do you think?
Yeah, I can't really say much more than what Porter just said. I think introducing new Earths in that series is long overdue, like you said. DC's gotten stale in Hollywood, I think, with the exception of the first Wonder Woman. I haven't had a chance to watch Wonder Woman 1984 yet, but I've heard it's not anything close to what the first one was from a few years ago.
Nope.
I agree that other than a typical Caucasian reporter from Metropolis is needed. And has been needed. So again, it's long overdue for this to.
You got a lot of people out here complaining about these things. You know, you still got your people complaining about Samuel L. Jackson's portrayal of Nick Fury. Even the young girl in the Hunger Games movies, who in the comics she was white. You got still people launching complaints about that. Still, the thing about this is we live in a diverse world. Okay, and when those things were created, they were created from a predominantly white, male-dominated RAND perspective, okay? And if we're going to grow any at all, we've got to take these changes, accept these changes, and see multiple, dynamics. Now, DC, I hope this movie works because DC just doesn't be able to seem to get the formula right for some reason.
Yeah.
I like Justice League. I love Batman versus Superman. Hated it when I first watched it. Watched it again, learned to love it. But and Wonder Woman was good. Wonder Woman 1984, horrible. But they don't even compare to the Marvel movies. Not even close. No. They don't have the formula. They need to worry about, even though, don't get me wrong, Marvel takes some liberties, but DC needs to really worry about sticking closer to the storyline in the beginning if they want to make their movies work.
Yes. I absolutely agree. And I said, and I may have told you guys this, my biggest criticism with the DC universe, as far as Hollywood's concerned, is they watched from 2008 when the first Iron Man came out. They waited 4 or 5 years and then went, oh, crap, we should have started 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So they played catch up in like a 3-year period.
Right.
And they were awful. Absolutely awful. If you compare movie to movie from DC to Marvel, there's no comparison. Now, they've had some good ones. Me and Fisher went and saw, I think, Superman versus Batman. It was okay. It could have been a hell of a lot better. They had Jared Leto with
I love that movie now.
Joker. He was not in that storyline and shouldn't have been. That was my biggest criticism with that movie. Because that was leading up to Harley Quinn's to her introduction. So they went from nothing to all in on their story in a period of 5 years instead of going along like the Marvels did. That was my big point.
Hopefully they can fix it. Marvel made some mistakes too in the beginning. Don't forget. Remember the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man with the webs actually coming out of his body. That was a huge faux pas.
Right.
The whole thing about Peter Parker was he was this brilliant kid scientist and invented his web shooter. So they fixed that finally. So
yeah, they have a chance here. And the nice thing about these alternate Earths is you could make a standalone movie. You don't need to worry about tying it to all this big storyline. Make a nice standalone movie like they did with Shazam. It's like
you don't have to answer.
One movie. We're not concerned about tying it into all this other stuff. Focus on a good story. That's it. And if it takes off, great. Then you can make more, So hopefully they'll get back. Yeah. I thought, okay, we'll debate that another time.
Yeah,
But that's
I think my biggest problem is it wasn't what I expected. I thought it would be more for adults, but whatever.
And then finally, I have some exciting news.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you have the exciting news in the technology of getting high. Okay, so whether you do or don't is up to you. But
The
there's
views
new
expressed by Brian
Yeah.
Fisher are not those of It Came From GenX.
maybe in Gen X in general it supports the but so there's this derivative hemp Delta 8 that is, I guess there's a loophole around them extracting and getting this. Delta 9 is the main ingredient of marijuana. Who knows? I don't know this stuff, but so there's a loophole there. So they're starting to mass produce this Delta 9 stuff in gummies, etc. So if it's a loophole in the laws, then you may start to see, beyond the many more states legalizing marijuana, you may start to see more access to this Delta 8 stuff. Who knows what they'll be able to do with that potentially. So pretty exciting stuff if you're into that sort of thing. Not saying you should or should. It may help the show, though, honestly. If you're don't think we're that funny or entertaining, get yourself some Delta 8, relax, take the edge off, and then you may find us perhaps more amusing. So we'll leave it there. So that's what I
listen to us again.
Yeah, re-listen. Yeah, that's right. You may find it more entertaining to say. Maybe you forget something and just go back and re-listen. It's funny for the first time. You never know. So yeah.
Great
So
stuff,
Keith, what do you got, sir?
Oh man, well guys, welcome to the wide world of wacky sports. First of all, on a more serious note, one of the pioneers of, I guess, broadcasting. Also, we were talking about the African American plight. But this guy was before we heard my man saying "booyah." Irvin, what was his first name? He passed away. Irv Cross passed away. I remember seeing his face when I was a kid. Definitely one of the first, and he was a class act, and so just wanted to give a shout out to Irv. So
yes, indeed. The CBS Sports. He was made
CBS Sports
part of many Sundays. That's right. Yep. Great job he did. Yep.
Okay, so he was today. Well, crazy news going on. We'll start with some NFL talk. Your boy Russell Wilson. This guy. I tell you what. The grass is not always greener, man. You are one of the best franchises in all of football. You've got a ring. You've got 2 appearances. You're with a champion level coach. The future always looks bright. You guys just need a defense. Russell Wilson has said he didn't want to get traded. That was baloney. Then he turned around and goes on a radio show and goes, "But if I do, this is where I want to go." And the first team he mentioned was Fisher's, yours truly, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
So that blew up all over ESPN today. People accusing him of wanting Dak's seat. And I tell you what, Stephen A. Smith made an argument today on First Take about he should, which shocked everybody because, he hates Dallas. But he said you got Jerry Jones always in the spotlight. You got the most lucrative franchise in all of sports. That's in the world, the Dallas Cowboys. And you got the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. You got the glitz, the glam, Texas, no tax state. Also, his wife, Sierra, who is a star, might have something to do with it. I'm sure Seattle, Washington, the nightlife there doesn't compare to maybe, downtown Texas, Houston, Texas, or where. But, this is a very, very dangerous situation we have here because if Jerry Jones' interest is piqued in the least bit, and of course, if he makes the slightest, if that gets whiff of a phone call to Russell Wilson, I mean, it's over with. It's over with. And I thought about it today, and I was like, you know what? If I didn't know anything about sports at all, and I heard this story, the first thing that cut in my mind was, if you got a girl, and you hear about a better-looking girl might have interest in you, Do not call that girl.
Right.
While you are still with your current girlfriend. Because if she find out and the other girl don't want you really, and it don't work out, you're going to lose your current girl and the other girl, and you're going to be without a girl. So this is just a crazy story, Fish.
Good analogy. Good analogy. Yeah, I think Russell Wilson's just don't come to Dallas. I'm a Dallas fan. Don't come there. Stay where I agree with you. Stay where you are. And he at the time, it's interesting when he got that huge contract in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
They gave it to him quick, and he's watching the current quarterback go through all this negotiation and everything else. And
why would you want to come to that?
That's where you want to go. I get all the endorsement
Not
deals
to mention,
potentially and all that crap. But
you're talking about Dak Prescott and Tony Romo. Quarterback play has not been the problem in Dallas.
You're right. It's the play calling / the defense. They can't seem to get together. So you can score all these points as Dak did last season, as we full well know. Until he got hurt, and it still wasn't enough to get past that leaky defense. So
right.
Russell Wilson, stay where you are. Love to have you if they can't work it out with Dak.
Right.
Okay. But you're out of your mind. Stay where you are.
Now, Skinner, you sent us the funniest meme the other day that said if you want to stop Tom Brady from winning Super Bowls,
trade him to Dallas.
Trade him to Dallas.
Yeah.
That was
Skinner.
Yeah. That was the funniest thing. I almost spit out my coffee when I saw that the other morning. I agree with Fisher. Don't go to Dallas. I think his career is going to take a tumble if he decides to even smell Dallas and Jerry Jones. That ain't going to go well for him at all.
And how about what it would do to that locker room? Here, Dak, who was beloved in that locker room and in that city, and you won't give him his money, but you would give Russell Wilson, I guarantee you, off the rip. Now, great, give it. Dak ain't no Russell Wilson, but Dak's a bad boy, and was the leading quarterback in the NFL before he went down.
Yeah,
right.
I think it would destroy the locker room. It would just be too much damage, man.
Yeah,
they never recover. Okay, all right. So also, other big news today, we heard J.J. Watt lamenting a couple weeks ago. I want to go to Contender. He reminded me of Eddie Murphy in Coming to America. I want a woman to stimulate my intellect as well as my loins. And who did he sign with today? The Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
He signed with a team that finished third in their division and potentially could finish last next year. You look at the Rams playoff team, Seattle Seahawks playoff team, and the 49ers, they're going to get all their guys back. They're going to be back, and they're going to be something to deal with. I don't understand it. We thought that if he didn't get with a real contender, that he would at least do something meaningful, play with his brothers, come to Pittsburgh. And, he would have done better going to Cleveland, Skinner.
Oh, I agree. I mean, we had talked about that in our other show before we ended the season. Where's J.J. Watt go if he decides to get traded? And we all agreed AFC North. It was probably a toss-up between Pittsburgh and Cleveland, and we all leaned towards Cleveland because they got the bigger upside for the next 5 years. So when I saw that and when I told you this was the biggest head-scratcher I've seen in quite a while is don't cry, Wolf. Don't tell us you want to go to a tender. It's like telling us it wasn't about the money and then you go sign a $1 billion contract somewhere else. This, to me, smells like the same thing.
Exactly. Fish?
Let me clarify. A contender or someone will pay me a lot of money. So let me just
sums it up. Okay.
Yep. There you go.
All right. Now, guys, if this isn't a millennial story, I don't know what it is. Two of the most famous failed millennials of the decade, Josh Gordon and Johnny Football, both from your Cleveland Browns. Josh Gordon has joined Johnny Manziel in the Atlanta-based startup team. They're going to be teammates. These are two guys that can sit in the locker room and compare how many millions they threw away being morons. I don't understand these guys. I think they're getting paid. I think they get paid $15 a game, 2 free tickets, and all the butter on your popcorn you can eat.
Yeah. It's an Atlanta-based team, all right.
Yeah, it is.
You're right. Those guys, they had every opportunity to make money. Just can't, like you say, they can't. Especially Josh Gordon, they can't find a way to do it. Poor guys. I mean, I'm sure addiction's a real thing, and I hope he gets help. And
we are
okay,
fun of addiction.
Right.
No,
right.
Not the least bit. Not making fun of the addiction, but yeah, Josh Gordon had the best wide receiver of all time in his sights, and he completely flushed it down the toilet with what he did. Johnny Manziel, who knows what would have happened with him? But I thought it was funny when I heard that Josh Gordon, Flash Gordon, going to the team. I'm like, oh, great, he's going to get another start. Maybe he'll try to get his life together. If you don't make a lot of money, fine. Just get your life turned around. Then when I heard that his teammate was Johnny Manziel, I said, oh, gosh, forget it.
You better keep an eye on that locker room. That's all I can say, man.
Oh, boy. All
right. And the last sporting news I got, guys, this story about LeBron and this soccer player from Milan, and the part that gets me, this guy telling LeBron to keep his mouth out of politics. Dude, you don't even live in this country. Just shut up.
Right. Why are you still talking?
Who are you to talk to a man, a 4-time champion, MVP, has never forgotten his community right here in our hometown, Akron.
That's right.
Never forgets the kids. Has a I Promise school. I don't want to hear about who paid for it and all that crap. Doesn't matter. He has the school. Nobody else did anything. And here you running your mouth about who this guy. The guy's still an American, still lives in this country, and he can speak his mind. The problem is parents teach your kids to think for themselves. Just because LeBron says something doesn't mean it has to be your political view. But he's allowed to speak whatever he wants to say. What do you think, Fish?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just like, everybody's allowed a point of view. And,
everybody.
LeBron, he'll speak his mind, but he doesn't go necessarily. I mean, he's not he's not the worst political commenter out there for sure. You know what I'm saying?
LeBron deserves anything, it's respect.
And
you're talking about 16, 17 years in the league.
Yeah.
Never an ounce of trouble. You don't hear about him being caught up in these parties, cheating on his wife, all this other. You know what I'm saying? This guy deserves respect.
Yeah. He wants to keep it about the team, not about him. Let him say what who cares? All these people, it's just let these guys talk. Who cares? Let them share their views. So what? Go ahead, Skinner.
Only thing I have to say is, what country are you from, and why are you talking? That's all I got.
Yeah.
Thank you. Gee whiz, man. You know what? We got to shut these foreign people up talking in our country. You know what I'm saying? If you don't live over here, shut your face. Shut your brisket hole, whatever you eat.
So many people get worked up by this, by just people speaking their. If unless you're saying something hateful and hurtful to people and stuff like that, I mean, honestly, who cares?
Yeah.
Maybe that's our age group and all that stuff, guys. Life's too short, especially when you get to, just relax.
Relax and chill out.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. Well, let's move on to music, guys. How's that?
Yep.
My favorite subject, being the drummer that I am. This day in music, March 1st. It is March 1st, guys, by the way. And those of you listening to us on the podcast and on radio, you are listening to WMBU.org, Internet Free Radio. Thank you for joining us.
Yep.
But Glenn Miller. Do you remember the Glenn Miller band?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Glenn Miller was huge in the early 1900s. He was, I don't know, he was a household name. It didn't get bigger than the Glenn Miller Orchestra. And 1904, they were tearing the charts up. And March 1st, I think, was a very significant day with one of their songs. But that part of the year is something I'm teaching my kids. I've graduated from being their drum teacher to their music teacher, and I'm looking forward to getting to that era. But Glenn Miller debuted. It was huge in music.
Big Band was great, by the way. Go back
Band,
and I listened to the Glenn Miller Christmas album.
Mm-hmm.
If you like that sound, that music, the big band music, listen to stuff like that. It's just great stuff. It reminds me of this house when my grandparents lived here where I'm living at now. You walk in, they would have it on the radio. It's just nice and soothing, good stuff.
Yeah, it just feels good, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
To me, that was happy music.
Yes.
It was a happy time. No matter what was going on outside the walls that they were playing in, you were happy listening to that music.
Young people, expand your mind. Listen to something else besides Fetty Wap. There's other kind of stuff out there, and if you go into it with an open mind, you'd be surprised what you would enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, 1927, Hera Belafonte, one of the early black music stars, actors, who was they really got famous in a lot of plays and things like that. But his song, one of the most famous songs of that era, the Banana Boat song, debuted in the UK charts and the US. Daylight come and me want to go home. Hey, Mr. Ferryman, carry me banana. That song. That was horrible.
One of the best scenes in the movie Beetlejuice.
Yes.
When they sang that song and were possessed.
Great pop culture reference.
Yep.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Check out Beetlejuice, young people, if you haven't seen it. One of Michael Keaton's great performances.
That's right.
Okay. So, let's come up a few years. 1994. Oh, Skinner, this is your dude, man. The Beep. Justin Bieber debuts, baby. The Beepster.
The Beepster.
Justin Bieber was the first artist to have his first 7 singles hit the Hot 100.
Kind of like my view on Tiger Woods, and shout out to Tiger Woods and full recovery and all that. But Justin Bieber, love the game, don't like the person. He's a punk off of that microphone. I thought that from day one, but you got to respect what he did in front of the microphone because the man made millions.
Well, his mother took him backstage to an Usher contest.
Yeah.
And made him sing for Usher. And Usher told him he was going to be famous one day. Told him in the parking lot, you're going to be famous one day. And he is. But I'm like you. I just think he's a poor example for young people. He's a moron. But in his defense, you have a kid with no type of discipline, no type of structure. What do you expect?
I like a lot of his music. I'll leave it at that.
I don't like one Justin Bieber song.
Really? Peyton liked him growing up, so I was exposed to some of his music.
I don't know a lot.
He's pretty good.
But I'm surprised that I don't know any of his songs.
Yep.
I don't know a lot, Okay. So also, guys, this is certainly related to our generation, especially those of us who were as we got older, the metal craze was everywhere. Metal was dominating the MTV charts. The top videos, 7 out of 10 of them were, your Poison, your White Snake, one by Metallica, Motley Crue, whatever. This band, with a sharp-edged sword, killed that entire scene. But in 1994, Nirvana played their last concert on this date in Munich, Germany.
Wow.
Who would have thought that was the last time they would see this? Yeah, very,
still
very
too
sad
bad.
story.
Such a waste. It's too bad that Kurt Cobain battled those demons. It would have been interesting to see what they could have done, and it evolved over the years. I guess it did spawn Foo Fighters, which is a great band in itself, and that may have not happened without all this tragedy. But still, yeah.
The crazy part is, going back in history, all the young artists, up and coming, promising artists, it is amazing all the ones who died at the age of 27.
Yeah.
Brian Jones, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, somebody I'm just now getting into, she's phenomenal, Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, Jim Morrison, Robert Johnson, Ron McKenna, Richie Edwards, and Chris Bell.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, hey, fellas, we're
speaking of real quick. Speaking of the Doors, Jim Morrison. This day in Miami, he got charged with lewd and lascivious behavior for exposing his penis on stage, and was sentenced to 8 months hard labor. And of course, while it was in appeal, he died. So, significant day for the Doors.
If Skinner did that, it would be a misdemeanor.
Yes, and if I did that, it'd be one night at playing board games with Sister's house.
Yes, that's right.
And I'll leave that at that.
Well, hey, fellas, we are up against a hard out, so that's episode 2 in the book. Yep,
That's a great.
Gotta do it.
What a way to end it off the
Seriously?
the commentary. Yeah, absolutely. That's
what we'll do is one more time we'll put up in print on where you can hear us, where you can find us.
Yep.
Go to our YouTube page basically for that. But with that, fellas, I had fun this week. We got more antics and banter and news for episode 3.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening and joining us. And I had a great time, fellas.
Facebook page at It Came From GenX. Find all our info there. Thanks for your support.
Absolutely.
Have a good week, folks.
See you later, everybody.
Okay.